Hi, everyone. Welcome to my sneak peek of the course that I launched that is all about medical directorship. So, if you are a doctor and you're thinking about medical directorship, this is essential for you to understand exactly what goes into it, the liability, and how to do a really good job. Not only so that you can get a lot out of this field, but how you can protect yourself as well. This course is also helpful for med spa who isn't really sure what their medical director is supposed to do and how to cover yourself to make sure that if anything were to happen, they would find you above board in how you have your involvement with your medical director. So we're just going to take a few minutes to introduce myself and then I'll give you a little overview. And so medical directorship has been literally my dream job, especially once I understood how to actually manage the liability and how to do it well. I've been doing this for about 6 years, and every year it gets better and better because I know how to manage the liability and how to create a lot of meaning. So, my story really quickly is I actually left a women's health fellowship in 2018 and I started my own aesthetic practice. I just did it because I was wanting to treat women where they were at. And I liked home parties. I liked concierge medicine. I always got Botox myself. And so it was a really easy thing to just take a course and start to learn and practice on my own. Eventually, I grew into women's health, aesthetics, longevity. And since then, since 2018, aesthetic medicine now covers hormone health, peptides, longevity, supplements, injectables, lasers. It covers so much. And I have to say that I've loved every minute of being in this field. There's been a lot of challenges as well, don't get me wrong, but as I've learned to navigate those and also creating courses like this that will help someone who is in a similar position to me to actually know what to look out for and how to protect themselves. I wish that I had something like this when I got started. So that's why I'm here to help you navigate something that was completely unknown for me. And the way that I learned was through making a lot of mistakes. But I also learned the team that I could build around me. That team included lawyers, CPAs, insurance brokers that I trust to have my best interests at heart, and also who have taught me along the way everything that I needed to learn. I also attended, and I still do attend, a lot of conferences. I have grown medical directorship not only into the relationship that I have with the spas, but I've grown it into my own brand. And in the course, I go over how to do that. So I came from UCLA, UCSF, and now I am a medical director and as well as a consultant. So I help people actually launch their spas in a compliant way, and I help a lot of spas grow. I also help spas make sure that they're compliant in the state of California, so I do a lot of that. And you can find my full list of courses on my website, and these are both of my Instagrams that you can follow along to as well. And we have kind of within our spa network, we have over 20 nurses, 10 estheticians, and we provide hands-on training, events, corporate partnerships. We have a membership. Even if you're not in my medical directorship, you can still be a part of our community. And I think people get a lot out of that because you don't feel as alone, not like I did when I started in 2018. So we're not going to discuss the full course. We're going to go over some of the more pertinent, kind of high level things that I think are really important to understand about medical directorship. And one of those things is what are your duties? What are you supposed to be doing? And on a weekly basis, you need to be available for clinical questions and any complications. So, on an average day, I probably get 1 to 2 calls and messages from nurses. Sometimes they're just administrative questions, and other times they are management questions about is this the right way to manage ptosis? Or I have this patient that maybe after her sculpture treatment, her skin was super dry. What do I do? So I wouldn't say that they're necessarily emergencies, but they are questions about management. Keep in mind, I have a very strong aesthetic background, and I also love skincare. So even if it's not related to injectables, I'm always researching myself what the best skincare brands are. I've tried everything. I read about it. I understand the science. So that's also something my nurses know that they can come to me for. But if you are in another field, let's say aesthetics is something new that you're getting into, then I do recommend taking a few classes just so you get the basic understanding of neurotoxin, fillers, maybe even taking a laser class. That can be super helpful to understand the technology. And I would say I come from family medicine, so a lot of the things about common skin complaints, rashes, um, eczema, allergies are actually more from my family medicine background than necessarily any aesthetic training that I've had. So use what you're passionate about, what you've already mastered, and if there's areas that you are interested in, this is a great opportunity to go to conferences, read, learn more. I'd have to say when I got into aesthetics, I wasn't as invested or educated in a lot of ingredients. I knew medications and I knew dermatology from my primary care background, but I really took it upon myself to learn about skincare principles. So I would empower you to do the same. But yeah, my nurses pretty much know they can ask me anything. If I don't know, I will try to find out for them or empower them to try to find out the answer. So that's really what I do on a day-to-day basis is I'm just available. And then I also go in for site visits, which we'll talk about. Um, but monthly, I do sign notes. So for nurses, for RNs, you need to sign 100% of their charts. For NPs and PAs, it's about 10%. And you are also responsible to approve new hires. Technically, in the state of California, at least, anyone who holds a medical license is actually employed by the doctor. So you need to be sure that if you're going to have your nurse interview them and find the good candidates that they want to hire, you need to have final say. And so I would recommend just even looking over the resume, doing an interview, even if it's over FaceTime and providing a written paper trail of what you think and your approval and send it via email or document it. You also want to assess that the injectors are proficient and make sure that you know the workflows in the spas that you're overseeing. So if you want to attend the monthly meetings or on your site visits every month, just ask about any new workflows or new procedures that they're doing and what the workflows are. That's really where your role comes into play. You also want to be approving new products and devices, especially lasers. I'm very strict about lasers because I don't want any spa buying a new laser unless I feel comfortable with the nurses actually performing it. So they can attend a training, but if a nurse doesn't have extensive laser experience, I don't think that getting a very powerful complex laser is appropriate. So I have them start with something a little bit more of a starter, a little safer, like an Aerolace or ND YAG. And then as they get more comfortable, they can move on to things like CO2 or um, radio frequency. But I always have them run every purchase by me. Other purchases, kind of smaller skincare brands, I don't think that like I don't require them to run it by me, but I do like when they let me know, hey, we're going to bring on this line, or we're looking at this product, we're looking at this training, how to do this procedure, because technically you do have the power to approve or deny anything new that they want to do. So quarterly duties, you do want to do site visits at least quarterly where you go in, you make sure they have emergency meds on hand, everything's kind of put away, it's clean. And if you want to see um, my sheets that I have that I've developed with my lawyers over time about how to write down your site visit and document it, take a look at my website, and I will put a link in the bio as well for how to buy those. Perform chart audits, that's really important. I also have those just to make sure that if anything happened, they knew that you were also reviewing charts. Provide any team trainings and mentorship. So if someone's struggling with um, managing their staff, or if people are not sure about how to onboard a new injector, that can sometimes be helpful. If you have any experience in that, it's very helpful to help your nurses with that. But yeah, managing people is hard. So if you have any experience in that, your nurses will appreciate it. Annually, you want to update and sign protocols. So remember, everything that's done in the spa needs to have a protocol. Lasers, you can usually find these from the manufacturer. And then injectables like Botox, filler, everything has to have protocols. Normally, you can get this from your lawyer, whoever helped you open your corporation and set up your med spa, but you can also buy them online. There's a lot. And annually, you also want to verify licenses of all your staff, your nurses, make sure that each spa has malpractice coverage and that you get a copy of it, and that the medical director is included on that malpractice. That's very important. Evaluate new treatments and technologies, and then attending conferences and team events together is always awesome. We do a lot of that. And that comes in when you're talking about building that robust community. Um, Doing that has really helped me to create a brand and get a lot of meeting out of my work. So I want to pivot into this other topic of documentation. So all of these duties, you need to be documenting them because if the board ever did an audit or you had a lawsuit, this would be a way of demonstrating that you were abiding by the medical board's statutes of how a medical director is involved in a spa. So documentation is so important. The first thing you need to document is all of your corporate documents. So you need to make sure that you are a majority, the doctor is a majority shareholder of the professional corporation. Um, so this is one of the most common things that I see that's done wrong. And so you need to make sure your corporate structure is correct and that you have those documentations to prove that you've done it correctly. So usually we want the articles of incorporation that show the doctor is the majority shareholder. We want the bylaws that are signed by both the nurse and the doctor. And then we want the management services agreement, which dictates the relationship between the management services organization and the professional corporation that the doctor is the majority shareholder. So um, even though I'm the majority shareholder of the professional corporation of all the spas, I still have my own corporation. The professional corporation of that spa pays me as the medical director every month, and that goes into my own medical corporation. So if you have any questions on this, you're going to want to buy the full course to get a full explanation, or work with a experienced med spa attorney who can break all of this down for you. Two, well, you want to sign your charts and you also want to have a paper trail of audits every once in a while, just giving them feedback. Hey, I noticed that a few of the charts were missing, like the law and expiration date, for example. You want to make sure that you're adding those, but giving a paper trail that you're also giving feedback on the notes. I also have a resource. There's a free download, and then there's a video that you can buy on my website or Patreon that goes through what needs to be in an aesthetic note if you need that help with that. Also, you want to document that you're going to the spa, that you are documenting the site visits. And in the site visit form that you can buy from me, it says like new procedures to approve or disapprove. Um, do you have the proper like um, is the medical director's picture in the lobby? Is their license displayed? Like these are all things that are part of compliance, and that's all in the site visit form. Trainings. You should be present for trainings for new devices. So if the spa wants to get a laser and you're okay with that, you need to be, if you don't already know how to use that laser, then you need to have documentation that you've gone to the training. Because if anything should happen, you should have a basic understanding and knowledge to answer any questions or to like kind of understand the technology and to help them find the answer if you don't know. But you can also attend these trainings virtually. So just keep that in mind. And then have a central place to store notes, things in progress. I have a whole section on documentation in the course, but you could use something like Google Drive, Monday.com, and we also have our own proprietary software that we've developed specifically for this. A big thing in signing notes is that you want to have an EMR system that is easy for you to sign notes. So keep in mind that not every electronic medical record system is easy for a medical director to navigate. I've switched almost everybody over to Jane. Jane is a very affordable app out there that was developed for health professionals. A lot of therapists, physical therapists use it, but now it's getting a lot more popular in aesthetics because it's highly customizable. We've been able to build out all of our procedures, our templates, our consent forms. So we pretty much have everything in a database. And so when you join our membership or you join our medical directorship, you have access to these if you need them. And so, but even if you don't have that, you can import your old ones into the new software really easily. What I love about Jane is that it's great for a solo injector who just needs a great EMR system that also assists in operations, scheduling, booking, reminders, updates, automations, connects to your email marketing. But it's also great for those big spas. So we have quite a few big practices that have 4 or 5 nurses, and they love using Jane because people can easily book with them. They can choose who they're booking with, their procedure that they want. It's capable of handling multiple locations, so it can grow with you. I wanted to show how easy Jane is to use, show you how I log in. And this is just one of my practices. They have 4 providers, so it's one of my biggest practices. And it doesn't matter how big it is because Jane, you automatically will get the notes assigned to you. So fortunately, you can just log in and they're all already assigned to you. There's a lot of EMRs when you're a medical director that you have to go into the schedule. And unfortunately, it's very cumbersome. But Jane, after some feedback, they actually made it really easy. So where you literally just go into my account and then you view your staff profile and I'm not going to click on it because it'll show actual patient data, but I go under supervision and I click this and then it just lists the all the notes and then I can go through and just review them. So it's very easy. I hope you try Jane. And I think it's the perfect if you are a medical director and you get asked which EMR system that they should use, I highly recommend Jane. So it's a lot easier to be compliant. So please check out my full course. I will link it below. It's on my website and it'll be on Patreon as well. And also check out the documentation that you can use for site visits, for chart audits, and that way you can make sure that you are documenting everything correctly for your spa, if you're a medical director, if you're a nurse. And then if you need more help, you can book a discovery call with me. If you need help with seeing if your spa is compliant, if you are interested in our membership, I'll put that in our bio as well. So I hope that this video helped you. Check out my other videos as well.